Hey guys, welcome back to Maxyy's Kitchen, or welcome to Maxyy's Kitchen if this is your first time here. My name is Maxyyy and I'm super glad to have you over. In today's recipe video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make the best jollof rice ever. This jollof is so rich, so tasty, so red, guys. It's everything that a good jollof is, and I really cannot wait to teach you the recipe. If you want the full details on how I made this lovely pot of jollof, don't go anywhere. Okay, so to start with, here's a list of all the ingredients that you'll be needing to make this particular jollof rice recipe. Don't forget to take screenshots. So the first thing that we're going to do is to cut our large onion and our bell peppers into chunks like I've done, and we're going to throw them on an oven tray lined with parchment paper and then drizzle a little bit of oil, salt and pepper and just give that a good mix, or toss them. And we're going to put it in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius. So I'm using the grill just so that the vegetables are charred, because we need that flavor, okay? Okay, so once you're done with that, you want to start working on the beef. Now, this is onion, ginger, and garlic. If you look at the ingredient list, I separated the ingredients for steaming the beef from the jollof ingredients. So this one is all the ones that I listed under the beef ingredients. Okay, you want to blend the ginger, garlic, and onion with a little bit of water to get that paste, and we're going to start steaming the meat. So I'm using beef. You can use goat's meat. I actually love using goat's meat for this recipe, but I just didn't have some. You want to transfer your washed or clean beef into the pot, and then you want to season with shrimp powder, Badia complete seasoning, or any all-purpose seasoning that you like, and some mixed herbs. If you don't have mixed herbs, you can omit that, but I just use it and it gives it an amazing flavor. Apart from these three, you also want to add in some salt and then add in all the blended paste that we just made. Okay, so I have to mention this. I don't use seasoning cubes. I always use shrimp powder, raw shrimp powder instead. So if you don't have shrimp powder, or if you're used to using seasoning cubes, please use that instead of shrimp powder, okay? So you want to cover this and let this cook on medium to high heat for about 8 minutes. You don't want to add any water. And then after 8 minutes, you come back and add in about a cup of water and let that cook for about 25 minutes. So after about 30 minutes, your vegetables should be done roasting. I actually left mine in the oven and turned it off after a while. I waited for it to cool down and then I transferred them into my blender cup. So I didn't rinse my blender after I poured out the natural spices we blended for the beef. So I just transferred that into the blender cup, added in 2 scotch bonnet peppers. Now, if you don't want a lot of spice in your food, just use one. If you don't want it to be too spicy, just use one, okay? And I added in my garlic and then my ginger, and then added in a little bit of water to help with blending, covered it and then blended that up. So I didn't show you that bit, but after the meat became soft, I took them out of the pot, and then I also took the stock out of the pot and saved that. Okay, we're going to be using that. I put in about half a cup of oil in the pot and then waited for it to heat up and then put my beef inside to fry, okay? You want to fry for maybe 8 minutes or until it's golden brown, and then take the beef out of the pot, and please put it aside so you don't finish it before we actually make the jollof. So once your beef is done frying, you want to take them out and then add in your sliced onions and fry for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now in this recipe, I use both red onions and white onions to show you that it doesn't matter the type of onions that you use. I use both all the time and they both work very well for me. So I added in about 3 green habanero peppers. This is optional. It gives us so much flavor. If you want to use it, please go ahead and use it. Now I'm using this tasty tom jollof mix as tomato paste. Okay, I used 250 grams of tomato paste and this was just 70 grams of it. After I used this, I used regular tomato paste. I just wanted to try it and also include something that you guys could easily find if you're living in West Africa. I know that I didn't follow the instructions on the pack, but we're trying to develop flavor, and that thing has a little bit of spices inside which actually enhances the overall flavor of the jollof, and that's why I used it. If you don't have it, please don't use it. It's not compulsory, okay? You want to fry the tomato paste for more than 10 minutes, guys. Fry it very well. This is a very important part of making really good jollof rice, okay? After you fry that well, you're going to add in this blended mix that we made of the roasted bell peppers, the onions, and ginger and garlic. Okay, you want to add that in, give that a good mix, and then cover and let it cook on medium to low heat. So even though it's on medium to low heat, you can check up on your stew intermittently to ensure that it doesn't burn. So after about 20 minutes, you should see that the oil has settled on the top of the stew. If it needs a bit more time, give it a bit more time for this to happen, and then you're going to add in your beef stock. So the thing about the way that I make my jollof, I make sure that I add in one thing at a time. I just don't throw in spices, throw in stock, you know. So we're going to let the stock marinate in the stew, cover it, just let it do its own thing again until you see more oil on the top, maybe after 25 more minutes, okay? And because we're cooking this nice and slow, and then you want to season your stew with mixed herbs, shrimp powder, or stock cube if that's what you use. Badia complete seasoning, that's the all-purpose that I use. Use any all-purpose that you are used to, and jollof seasoning by Badia. Guys, this is one of my secrets to making nice jollof. I've been using it since. It gives it a really nice color and the flavor is amazing. So I'm telling you, I already put my sisters on and I'm putting you guys on now. I promise you, this is not a paid ad. It's just something that I've been using that works for me. You're going to cover that up, let it cook for some time, or let it fry for some time, and then look at the oil on top. Okay, the oil is always the sign that your stew is actually cooking. It's frying. The color would get darker. At this point, I threw in my beef. I had already eaten some, but I just put the rest in, gave that a good mix, covered it up again, made it marinate. Let's talk about rice, guys. I only use Thai jasmine rice for my jollof rice, and I do not wash my rice when I'm making jollof rice, okay? So just follow these same steps. Use Thai jasmine rice and don't wash your rice. Our stew looks very done now. You guys can tell that it's thickened up. It looks really rich. We're going to add in the rice to the pot of stew. Okay guys, there's one thing I need to tell you about. When we were spicing the stew, we used the same spices that we used to steam the meat, apart from salt. So I haven't added salt yet, okay? So after you add your rice, you want to give that a really good mix. You want to make sure that the rice, every single grain is coated with the stew. I used 5 cups of rice, okay? Exactly 5 cups of rice. You don't want to add more than that for this recipe, because if you do that, the rice will be more than the stew, and that wouldn't result in a very rich jollof. We don't want that. After you mix that very well, you want to cook this on low heat. Fry this on low heat for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then when you take the lid off after, you should see the steam coming out of the pot. Give that a really good mix. Okay, you want to turn the rice over. So now is a good time to salt your jollof rice. Be generous with the salt, give that a good mix, and then after you give it a good mix, you're going to add in water. Now I know this is a lot of people's problem when it comes to making jollof. This recipe, you want to start with half a liter of hot water. Okay, that's what I started with. That's what I just added, and I gave it a very good mix. The reason why you're using hot water is because you want the jollof to keep cooking after you add in the water. If you add in room temperature water or cold water, it would have to take its time to get up to temperature before it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, this is what it was looking like, and I decided to rinse my spatula with some more water, which was about a quarter cup of water. I just also sort of gave that a mix as well. I wasn't mixing vigorously at this point. I was just trying to play with the rice, you know. And then after this, I added in some more water just to form a layer of water on the surface of the jollof. Okay, that's what I'm doing now. And I also added in more green pepper for flavor. Okay, this is optional. Add it if you like it. If you don't, just leave it out. So this is the last bit of water that I added to my jollof to just create a layer on top. I just used it to wash the spatula, okay, or rinse the spatula, and then I cooked this on low heat, covered with parchment paper or aluminium foil. I used parchment paper, but you can use aluminium foil. Let it cook on low heat for about 15 minutes, and after about 10 to 15 minutes, you can check and turn your rice. So this was the first time that I turned my rice. I was being very careful not to scrape the very bottom part into the jollof, but then I also made sure that I was turning the rice. Okay, you guys can see the steam. At this point, you're not going to add in any more water. The steam is what is going to soften the jollof rice. Okay, so after turning the rice, you just want to put the parchment paper back on, or the aluminium foil back on, cover it, and let it continue to cook on low heat. So I think after about 20 minutes, I checked again. When you use parchment paper, it's always going to trap water on top. Make sure that that water doesn't drop into the rice, and you're just going to turn it again. Okay, so this was the second time I checked the rice. I realized I was getting soft, but I still had some hard grains in there, so I covered it one more time, and when I came back, the jollof was done. And there we go, guys. That's a beautiful pot of jollof rice. This jollof rice was so flavorful, guys. It was packed with so much flavor. It was so juicy. It was so rich. And I want you guys to try it and tell me something. I know I already have a jollof recipe on this page, but this is an updated version. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. When you try it, let me know. If you have any questions about anything that I did, please leave it in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to answer you. So I served this up with my lemon pepper chicken. If you want the recipe for that as well, it's already on my channel, but if you want a dedicated recipe video for that, please comment in the comment section. Let me know and I'll share that with you. For now, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my jollof because there's some in the fridge. You need to make this as soon as possible. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, you're welcome again, and I hope you enjoyed this recipe video. I have other recipe videos that you can watch. Please check them out, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!